Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll hear from a woman discussing her divorce process after 12 years of marriage, a man who says his lawyer was ripping him off by prolonging the process to take more money, and a woman who feels offended when a man wants to buy a house and put it in his mother's name. We want to invite you to smash that like button and help us reach 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year and earn our first plaque. That's the only contribution we ask from you, man. Add your grain of sand to the movement. Leave us your experience in the comments for any man who needs it. And without further introduction, let's get started.
I don't know who needs this reminder, but apparently a lot of y'all do.
Oh, goody. I love reminders. Let's hear this one.
I am not a man.
I doubt that one is going to hear much disagreement on that.
I am not assigned male at birth.
Sure. Okay, why not?
I am an assigned female at birth, femme, non-binary person.
Of course. When exactly did they start assigning that at birth?
If there is a choice between a man and a bear, I'm the one that gets to choose.
In some instances, I'm starting to feel really sorry for that bear.
Also, so it's not a choice.
Wait, so there's no freedom of choice anymore? Oh dear.
Stop fucking saying, oh my god, I would totally choose the bear over you, just because I'm standing up for liberation, okay?
So much for liberation if there's no freedom of choice. I guess they must have changed the definition of that word too.
You don't get to choose between me and the bear, okay? I get to choose between a man and a bear. And if anything, I am the fucking bear that will tear apart the man who hurts you.
Oh gee, don't I feel safe now?
Do you understand me? Like, and the fact that men do not understand why we would choose the bear.
We? Who precisely here is this we? Maybe I missed something.
Literally just proves everything. Stop treating me like I'm a man.
Indeed. And I'll just say this. I personally treat people how they act. So there's that.
Fuck up, you crazy bitch whore!
I'm curious how these people want to choose between being a woman, a man, or a bear when they can't even decide what they are. Honestly, after male or female, I group all these people who identify as so many things together as extraterrestrials since we haven't seen one yet, and that option is still vacant. The irony here is that they want to fight against men, speak badly about men, and blame men for everything bad. But when they have a problem, they go to a man. I assure you, when their car has issues, they go to a man. I assure you that when their house has a problem, they go to a man. I would have said they turned to their father for help, but seeing how things ended up, it's possible there wasn't a father around. Then they say that having a man in the house isn't necessary, but when they aren't there, look at how things turn out for them.
Today marks 1 year since my divorce was final. Wait for my pre-workout tingles to kick in while we talk about it. Some things that I did not expect to experience, besides all the sad things like the depression and anxiety and grief that come with divorce that I talk about in my other videos, but some other things that I didn't expect. Number one, having to reparent my inner child that I had no idea was going to come out after divorce. There was a lot of parts of my personality that I had to suppress to keep the peace in a very high demand religion, very intense, radically religious marriage. And so when I got divorced, a lot of those parts of my personality just started popping up because it had the space and room to just come out. And I had to navigate, like, is this part of my personality? Is this a trauma response? Is this just like my inner child rebelling? And having to reparent my inner child while navigating trauma was like a mind F. Like, they don't prepare you for that. That was not in the handbook that I was given. There is no handbook on that. That was wild. Second, tearing down the walls of this very like rigid cinder block box I was forced to live in for 12 years was really weird. I expected to just feel like a feeling of like release and freedom, which I did feel, but it was also felt with very simultaneous like confusion, because I know what life in the box looks like. It's predictable, it's comfortable. I know what this looks like, and to have those walls be gone and to have to find my own box feels a little like you're lost and confused, because although it was toxic for your mind, body, spirit, soul, all the things, and it wasn't where you were supposed to be, at least it was predictable. And now it's gone. So you have to figure out what your boundaries are outside of that box.
I don't know what people are smoking in the morning, but it must be good. All she worried about was how to find her inner child. How many men in this country would love to be in your position, when most are just thinking about how to recover financially? What is this about the box? If what happened was that you didn't get the house, that's it. Why are you complaining about the block you should have lived in for 12 years? But if you had gotten it, I'm sure you would be overjoyed. That's why she tells us she thought she would feel a sense of liberation. But honey, that only happens when you win the divorce, because we all know that divorce happiness is always funded by the ex-husband. This is why we always see that before the divorce, they are the person who loves you the most, but afterward, they are your worst enemy. So if you commit the stupid idea of getting married, always have a prenup.
Another thing that was freaking weird was I got married at 19. I was a child when I got married. My prefrontal cortex was still mid-development at the time I got married. If you are not allowed to rent a car, you should not be allowed to get married, but don't even get me started on that. Anyways, so I got divorced at like 30, 31, and so never in my adult life, or really my entire life, except for that 1 year in college that I wasn't married or didn't live with my parents or wasn't married, I had to make decisions by myself, which is totally fine. I have no problem making decisions for myself. Love it, no issue. However, I've never had to make a decision where it didn't greatly affect somebody that I was doing life with. I've never had to go to make a decision and be like, okay, so how is this going to affect this person? I'm going to make a decision. How am I going to pitch this? How's it going to help them, hurt them, benefit them, stress them out in some way? So when I'd go to make a decision, I was like, okay, this actually doesn't affect anybody but me. And that is a weird, weird place to be. That messed with me so much, let me tell you. I could write a novel about how weird this first year has been, but let me just tell you this, okay? You are going to whip through a million different versions of yourself in this first year, and that is okay. Give yourself the space and grace to do it. Okay, you are going to be navigating just a million different versions of yourself, grief, loss, sadness, all while trying to rebuild a new life and keep your kids happy and healthy. And it's going to feel so overwhelming and so hard. But I want you to know you are not alone. There is light. There is love. There is an end of the tunnel. Healing isn't going to happen overnight. In fact, there is no destination to healing. It's going to be a daily practice. But just know that you are not alone. You can do this.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no.
That's why women are the most selfish beings in the world. They only think about me, 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 because she says she had never made that decision before. For God's sake, what you did was destroy your husband's and children's lives for, let me guess, your own happiness. Remember, marriage is only so that the woman is happy. As soon as the woman is not happy, the marriage is over. Who cares if the husband doesn't want a divorce? Who cares about how the kids feel? Who cares what the parents think? What matters is what they want. That's why it always starts with things like, I was 19 when I got married. My brain wasn't fully developed. I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah, right. You didn't know what you were doing when you got married, celebrated a wedding, wrote your vows. But when you were intimate with the man, your brain was developed enough for that. That's why nowadays a man has to protect his assets, so she doesn't take what you've worked for, like this woman tried. This is the advice given to this man in the next video.
A man wants to buy a house in his parents' names so it won't be connected to his wife in any way, and she can't forgive him. The wife posted to Reddit saying that they've been married for 2 years, her husband runs a business, and she's a stay-at-home mom to their child. They had been talking about buying a house, and she overheard her husband on the phone with his father talking about putting the house in his father's name. That's suspicious. She found out later that his friend had advised him to put the house in his parents' name and then have his parents transfer it to him later, so that the property wouldn't be legally connected to her during their marriage. She was, rightfully, furious and heartbroken. She says she caused a scene and that the house buying plan was postponed. Her husband apologized and tried to make things right by taking her for a shopping trip to buy things, but she's still sad and can't forgive or forget. Commenters on Reddit were pretty blunt, telling her that her husband was hiding information from her and destroying her trust. And many suggested that this was a symptom of financial abuse and that she should get her financial house in order, get a job, and lawyer up. Financial abuse includes tactics to conceal information and limit a victim's access to assets, like a house, according to the NNEDV. Financial abuse makes it difficult for a partner to leave a relationship, and when they finally do escape, they are often left with no assets, and it's very difficult for them to rebuild. It's likely worth this woman's time to consult an attorney and find out what her rights are in her state. And as far as rebuilding trust, it's going to take a whole lot more than just a shopping trip.
I have two opinions on this. First, putting your house in your parents' name can be beneficial when trying to protect your assets from a woman, but it's not risk-free. If you're an only child with responsible parents and a good mother, it might be a good idea. But if you have siblings, leaving everything in your father's name, knowing that everything has to be divided equally when they pass away, even with legal documents, is risky. There are some pretty lousy siblings, especially when you're doing well, and they aren't. Or parents who don't know how to manage their finances and spend the money as soon as they have it. So I recommend thinking this through carefully. I'm a supporter of prenuptial agreements or making legal agreements in marriage. If you get married without assets or with a woman who contributes financially, it would be best to make legal separation agreements because, in my opinion, this man can say goodbye to his marriage. As I said, if you got married without protecting yourself, the best thing is to make legal agreements and keep believing your marriage will last. Because in this man's situation, there's no way it will end well. Otherwise, watch the next video about the cost of divorce in this country.
It takes 2 minutes to get married in the system and about 2 years to get divorced, if not longer. If you don't know, it's all a sham. It's all a scam. I'm one of the rare ones that actually initiated the divorce. Usually it's the other way around. And I had a lawyer. She had a lawyer. And we ended up settling. But I settled without my lawyer, and I'll tell you in a bit why. My thing is this. If we were going to settle, why drag it out for 2 years? Why? So the two lawyers could keep making money, that's why. So they can bill each of us for talking to us, for sending us an email, for sending a fax, for sending some email to each other, right? My initial lawyer quoted me a price, ended up charging me like 3 to 4 times, which is totally wrong. I'm not going to badmouth him, whatever. It is what it is. Like I told the judge, I'm never getting married again because he told me yesterday, you can get married tonight. And I told him straight up, Judge, I will never get married again. With a straight face, like it wasn't a joke. Just to shut him down and let his buddies know that I'm not falling into the system again. Whatever. I'm just saying that just to say that. But we ended up settling. I let go of my lawyer because he was too slow. He wasn't doing anything for me. He wasn't even negotiating. The other side sent me some outrageous settlement agreement. Outrageous. And this guy didn't even flinch. He didn't even say anything. I let him go. And I said, you know what? Somehow I'll figure this out. Luckily, the other side wanted to hurry up and settle. So they sent me a 30-page document. I read it over. Whatever I didn't agree with, I sent it back with revisions. And we went back and forth like 6 times. I ended up reading that document like 6 times, which is like a half a novel. And I was happy with everything because I feel like I'm good. I don't have any obligations, and my children are taken care of, and I'm out clean. No obligations, no nothing. Whatever I make now is mine, and that's it. So, this system needs an overhaul. Because it's not right at all. You understand? It's bullshit. It's bullshit. But at the end, the judge told me of all the cases I've heard relating to this type of matter, said, Chris, you're the most professional that has come here. And the other lawyer commended me for, my communication style and how we got things done. So it's over.
I must say that going through a divorce without a lawyer is a terrible idea. If there isn't much to lose or the marriage isn't very long, maybe it's not a big deal. But if you have a lot of assets, you should change your lawyer, not go without one. No soldier goes to war without his rifle. Now, what he says is true. There are lawyers who drag out the process just to make you spend all your money, which is why many people end up ruined by divorce. It's not always because of what they lose, but because of attorney fees. But here's a trick. There's an artificial intelligence app called AI Lawyer, or you can use ChatGPT to read a contract and tell you all the clauses that affect you. This isn't paid promotion. I'm giving you options in case you find yourself without a lawyer. But I agree with him. Getting married only takes an hour, but getting divorced takes years. This system is abusive towards men. If you didn't protect yourself from the start, getting out of this contract with the devil takes a long time and is very difficult. That's why I don't recommend getting married. But if you do, having a prenuptial or marital agreement shortens the process significantly. They're crucial when it comes to saving your neck in a divorce. Be smart, don't get married, but if you do, protect your assets.
If she cheats, never ever take her back. The relationship is over. You deserve a woman who is loyal and would never disrespect you like that. So have the self-respect to walk away and never go back.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll see how a man gets back at his ex-girlfriend in a funny way when she cheats on him and wants to bring another man to the house. We'll also look at how women like to manipulate men, even when they're not with them anymore. We want to invite you to smash that like button and help us reach 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year and get our first plaque. That's the only support we ask of you, man. Add your grain of sand to the movement. Share your experience in the comments for any man who might need it. Without further introduction, let's get started.
I'm gonna give you one of the fucking biggest red flags you need to pick up on, please. I feel like people like, esto pasa desapercibido, you know? Like, esto like, people don't notice it. I don't know how to say that word in English, so mad fucking bad. If she gets a call and the first thing this woman says, oh, I'm with Mike, I guess that's your name, or I'm with Jason, I'm with whatever the fuck your name is. The first thing she says is your name. Oh, I'm with my boyfriend. This woman is doing you so fucking dirty. This woman is being so fucking sneaky, and her friends in on it. Her friends in on it. Like I say, your partner's friends are never your fucking friends. So pick up on that shit. How does she answer the phone? She's like, oh, hey, what's up, girl? How you doing? Cool. She's like, oh, hey, what's up? Oh, I'm with, by the way. I'm with my boyfriend, by the way. Yeah, you're getting cheated on.
I'll say two things about this. First, women are experts at manipulation. Those who don't know much about it are always trying to learn. Why do you think videos about toxic women giving tips on hiding their tricks, concealing money, or manipulating their man to do what they want always have millions of views? Since the beginning of time, women have understood that they can't match men in strength, so they rely more on mental manipulation. Like when she says your name out loud when she picks up the phone. She's either up to something with friends or wants everyone to be quiet so you don't hear what's going on. Second, your partner's friends are not your friends. This is a mistake many men make. Women usually try to separate men from their group of friends because a man alone is more manipulable and dependent on her. That's why she tries to integrate you into her circle of friends, so you share things in confidence, which they will eventually tell her. This is why I always say, don't abandon your friends, because another man can easily tell you when you're being manipulated. You have to be careful with this. Remember, your woman's friends are not your friends.
Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with another Reddit story for you. This one is titled, When Your Ex Tells You to Move Out While She's on a Work Trip Because the Guy She Cheated on You With is moving in, you get very creative when moving out. I can't wait. I did this to an ex who asked me to move out while she was on a work trip and told me she was coming back with her new boyfriend. We were still together when she left. I got these little noisemakers, battery-powered ones the size of a quarter that emit sounds at just the right volume that you aren't sure if you really heard it. So quiet that two people could be sitting in an average-sized room, and while one can barely hear it, the other wouldn't hear a thing. They last ages and fit perfectly in light fixtures and in wall outlets. I got a box of 20 for them for like $100 on eBay and got so creative all over the house, her car. I even hid them in a boat her father got her. Rich family, and she grew up sailing. Well, that explains how she went on vacation and found herself a new toy that she's coming back with. Now, these little bastards make a noise at a completely random interval. Could be minutes, could be hours, could take the whole day off. They cycle noises like children laughing, a dying breath, as they call it, a whistle, scratching noises, some other ones I can't remember, but you get the idea. It was so unpredictable, it was near impossible for someone to just figure it out. Candy Thunder, I need these. I need these. Months go by. I get a new place, get my life back up. Now we had a few friends in common, and one of them I kept up with. They were kind of sour about how she ended things, but they had grown up together and kept up the friendship, loosely talking and catching up on occasion. I never really asked about her, but one day we got to talking and he wanted to prank some friends on a camping trip, so I told him about the noisemakers. As I'm telling him about them, he slowly starts making this face like he's
It's funny because it's true.
Revenge is a dish best served cold. If someone hurts you, don't commit a crime, fight, or cry to your ex. Be smart and set a trap she won't see coming, because this man is very clever. Cheaters don't get forgiven. He saw that she already had his replacement and said, "I hope you enjoy it because your love won't last long." Now let's see how the story ends, because this is the most fun part.
He's gradually losing his shit. He's got this huge grin on his face and asks me, "You put these in your ex's shit, didn't you?" And when I admit it, he starts laughing hysterically. Turns out her new boyfriend had only lasted a few months and had left telling her that he couldn't. I'm sorry. It's too funny. I've never had a story so funny that I couldn't talk. This is... Turns out her new boyfriend had only lasted a few months and had left telling her that he couldn't handle whatever was going on with them and their mental states. Turns out for a while they had both heard things, and sometimes only one of them would hear them, which gave the illusion that something really effed with them was going on in their heads at different times. They couldn't figure it out, and eventually he wanted out completely. And having run down all the crazy list of shit people who were hearing voices would think, ended it believing he had been infected with some brain worm the government was putting in vaccines or something like that. Oh my god. This is the greatest thing ever. Oh. He thought he got infected by a brain worm that the government put in vaccines. It was amazing. I hadn't expected to hear anything about it. I rode that train for weeks. When it went away, I got another hit of that high. She moved out, told her parents she didn't want the house and to give it to her brother or sell it. Wouldn't tell them why. I always tell people who ask about her that I hold no grudge, and don't tell them the part where I totally effed with her so bad that I overshot the got her back stage and hit the blissful state of satisfied with my work. My wife knows this story by heart because it's her favorite one to tell. You get the slow clap for that one, OP. Holy shit. Think Geek used to sell them. They're called Annoyatrons. Oh, that's what you need to look for. Annoyatrons. Think Geek used to sell them. Not sure if anyone else sells them, but just search for Annoyatrons. Oh my gosh. Annoyatrons. That is amazing.
I can't stop laughing. In a few words, he turned the house into a haunted house. See, that's revenge served cold. He was calm, didn't hurt her, didn't hit her, and went on with his life as if nothing happened. She couldn't enjoy herself with her new boyfriend. Can you imagine what it's like to be in a house where you hear little noises? Of course, it messes with your mental health. All the time. When you're sleeping, when you wake up, it can drive a person crazy. Yes, because there are annoying sounds, like crickets, but now you hear little noises all day. It throws you off balance mentally. This guy is a genius. He turned her life into a hell that she had to sell the house or run away from it. The worst part is that even the yacht is making noises, making you think you're going crazy.
Whoever said that being an independent girl and like moving out of your parents' house and living on your own and like being so independent is fun, let me just warn you. I used to be the type of girl when I got my paycheck, I'd be like, oh my god, it's going towards my hair, it's going towards my makeup, it's going towards my clothes. Bitch, you know what I spend that shit on now? My rent, my phone bill, my car bill. The other day, my car broke down and I literally had no one to call. I have to think of food to cook myself every single night for dinner. When I get sick, I can't just cry to my mom and have her make me make soup. I have to freaking pick up the phone and call the doctor and make my own appointment. Do you know how scary it is to make your own doctor's appointment? Word of advice, live with your parents and freeload off them for as long as you can. Or get a man to pay for literally everything, because honey, this independent bad bitch shit, it's not as fun as it seems. Trust and believe.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
For some people, being a functioning adult is terrible because being an adult means taking responsibility for your life, which is something women don't like. Why do you think so many of them want one or more boyfriends to take care of their lives? They look for a high-value man with money to take care of them. Yes, because many talk about being strong and independent, but that comes with caveats. When they have a good family behind them, it's easy because daddy pays the bills. When they come from poverty, less attractive women are forced to become strong. But when they're pretty and spoiled, they're the ones who get the hardest reality check when they see their bubble burst. That's why you see so many marriages that don't work. Many come with the Disney fairy tale about the wedding and the ring, but when they see the responsibility of running a household and being a wife, they want to get divorced right away because responsibility is kryptonite for women.
Riddle me this. I have not talked to my ex in years. We are high conflict. He is high conflict. We only communicate on a coordinated app. I still hear back from my kids that he brings me up, blames me for things that happen at his home. Huh? During one of the last domestic violence incidents at his home, where his current wife called law enforcement on him, I was not there. I was not involved. All of the children were there. All of them saw. I read the police report after. He brings me up while he is being interviewed by a police officer, diagnosing me with borderline personality disorder. We haven't talked. I was not there. In fact, I didn't even know about the incident until the kids called me, scared. Why am I in the police report? Anyone else?
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Just by saying that they are very conflictive, you make me understand that you were the crazy ex who traumatized your ex-husband. This is a harsh reality. When a good man gets involved with a toxic woman, she makes him suffer so much that he ends up traumatized. This is very bad for the man because many won't seek therapy. I would recommend it because sometimes you need to seek help when you've been mentally messed up. That's why I say women are experts at manipulation. When you are manipulated for so long, even if you leave her, there are still side effects. The truth must be told, but when she says she doesn't know about him, that's a lie. Most crazy exes are always keeping tabs, even after years, and it's worse if they have kids. I'm sure she found out through the kids, and she's probably poisoned them against their father, telling them to report everything that happens at home. They even make the child toxic towards the father. That's why you see fathers who don't have good relationships with their kids because the mother turned them against him. And do you know why it's like this? Because look at how she uses it to make content. Once toxic, always toxic.
You guys love each other, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. That will go away.
You cannot trust anybody ever.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll see how women's hypergamy doesn't spare men. When a woman starts to achieve economic success, the first thing she wants to do is leave her husband. We'll look at her reasons for divorce and how, selfishly, she only thinks about her happiness. We want to invite you to smash that like button and help us reach 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year to get our first plaque. That's the only support we ask of you, man. Add your grain of sand to the movement and share your experience in the comments for any man who needs it. Without further introduction, let's begin.
Hey, the number one reasons why your relationships are failing. I think I'm qualified to talk about this because I got a divorce because of it, so oh well, live and learn, right? It's called communication. Part of it was that I was a 19-year-old kid that had no idea what she was doing. Here was the issue. I was so afraid of causing more issues by speaking up and saying what I actually wanted. So I just buried everything inside and expected him to know what I was thinking. And then when he didn't show up in the ways that I wanted, I would get upset and feel dissatisfied. I had this notion that if I said what I felt, that it would mess everything up. The ironic part is then I would say nothing, and instead, it messed me up. I can't say this enough. Say what you think and feel in the moment. If you're afraid that person is going to leave you because of something that you say, then you don't want to be with them anyway. If you cannot be authentic and be yourself and say what you think and feel, your relationship is going to fail.
Stop it. Get some help.
I have always believed that when a woman creates a channel to talk about why she got divorced and then becomes one of those unlicensed internet therapists, advising on what to do or when to divorce, it makes me think they didn't go through a real divorce. It was more of a business process. I acknowledge that women always want to capitalize on their losses, no matter the suffering of others. Why do you think women always use these stupid excuses when they divorce? Like, my child can't grow up seeing his mother unhappy. My children can't see their parents fighting, or I can't live in an unhappy marriage. Because the only thing that matters to women is how they feel. The only happiness that matters is theirs. It doesn't matter if their children will live worse off, if their husband was doing things right, or how much money they'll lose. What matters to a woman is her own happiness, and then she claims she sacrifices for the family.
Y'all want to know the dirty details of why I got divorced. So let's talk about it. So here's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell you. I will be the first person to share anything about my life story. I truly believe that when we talk about those things, it can help somebody else that's going through the same thing. Here's the thing. This story isn't just mine. This involves my ex. I have too much respect for him. I'm not going to go into details airing out exactly what we had done wrong. But I will say this. What were some of the things that made me make my decision? I can share that. There's one thing in particular. My son said something to me, hit me. I knew my kids were not growing up seeing a healthy home relationship. We'd gone to therapy. We had really tried our best. Anybody can say, well, there's always more that you can do. Maybe. At the end of the day, I had to know that, is this the right thing for me and my family? And I truly felt like it was. It was part of our journey. That was part of our learning. In order to become our better, higher selves, we had to go through that situation. People can tell me I'm wrong all day long, and you are welcome to your opinion. Could I have stayed married and made it work? Maybe. Could I have done things different? Maybe. But I didn't. Where I'm at now and where he is at now is in a better place. Is it perfect? No. Was divorce hell? Absolutely. But I'm making these videos because I want people to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel, that you can absolutely have a happily ever after, even after divorce. So take that for what it's worth. Hope you have a great day. Mwah.
See what I told you? Women will always prioritize themselves first. Didn't you notice when she said, I have to make the best decision for me and my family? Why didn't she say it the other way around? Because what's important is how she feels about the situation, and then she uses the word family, so it doesn't seem like it was due to her selfish decisions. Another thing is therapy. Therapy doesn't work. Therapy only works in cases where the woman cheats on you and wants to go to therapy so you don't leave. She does this to temporarily calm her bad behavior, only to fail you again later. That's why you almost never see therapy work for a woman who wants to leave, because she's not willing to do her part. That's why she says the divorce was hell, because surely the man didn't want to destroy his marriage. Later, I will reveal the facts about why she made that decision.
How you know when it's time to get a divorce? Remember the feeling of trying to make this decision like it was yesterday. I remember sitting there, I was in my front room, and I was watching Mel Robbins on YouTube. And it was crazy because that day, her video that came out was, should I stay for my kids? I'm not saying that I took that video as like, oh, that was my answer, I'm supposed to get a divorce. No. That video made me realize that I was basing all of my decisions on staying out of fear. I knew in my heart that it was the right thing to do, but I was terrified. I was afraid of losing friends. I was afraid of losing my ex-husband's family, losing his friendship. I was afraid of how I was going to provide for my kids. I was going to affect them, how it was going to hurt them. I was afraid of meeting somebody ever again. I was afraid of being alone. I was afraid of letting go of what was making me secure. The truth is, no one can ever tell you if it's the right time for you to get a divorce. That decision comes from you and knowing in your heart what is right. That's not to say that the decision wasn't hard and it didn't hurt like hell, because it did. No matter what you do, it's gonna be hard. Whether you stay and work on your marriage, that's hard. Or you leave and you get a divorce and you have to start over, That's hard. You choose your hard. Trust yourself and make the decision out of love and not fear, and you'll do the right thing. You're gonna be okay. And I believe in you. You got this. You can do hard things. Have a great day.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
You always hear the saying, a mother does everything for her children. That's a lie. A father does everything for his children. A father doesn't ask for a divorce no matter how bad the relationship is. He looks for ways to keep it functional. Take the example of Mel Robbins. In her book, Mel Robbins describes how she and her husband use the 5-second technique to help them. She then describes how he supports her career and how she becomes a speaker and all that. But that man forgot something fundamental about women. When a woman makes more money than a man, she feels empowered and believes she doesn't need any man. Another thing is when a man earns less than a woman, she loses respect for him. So another thing is that a man cannot complain or say anything to a successful woman. For example, she's never home to be with me, and we hardly ever spend time together. A successful woman sees this as you trying to eclipse her success, being dead weight on her path to fulfilling her dreams. That's why you see that successful women are always single. That's why she ended it. A woman's hypergamy doesn't forgive. This woman did the same thing, and you'll see it in the next video.
I went from making $30,000 to $50,000 a month to that dropping to about $1,500 a month. To understand my miracle, you first have to understand my fall. About 8 years ago, I started a family YouTube channel that ended up growing crazy amounts and has grown to almost 2 million subscribers. I made videos with my kids, and to get paid to be a stay-at-home mom and play with my kids was the best job in the entire world. When it was at its peak, we were making upwards of $30,000 to $50,000 a month. And then about 5 years ago, everything changed. My personal life started spiraling out of control. I got a divorce. My ex-husband at the time unknowingly clicked on a link in an email that ended up losing our channel. Somebody took our channel, hacked it, deleted it, started sending our ad money to their bank account. And I don't know if you guys know this, but it is very, very hard to get a hold of anybody on YouTube. They give you an account manager, but that account manager does nothing. I haven't talked to my account manager in probably 2 years. Unless you're in the top tier of YouTube, they really don't give a shit about you. So here I am, newly divorced, and I'm a month and a half into having zero income coming from that channel and having no way of getting my channel back. Luckily, I had some very, very amazing people that are at the top of YouTube that saw a plea of mine on a Facebook group that I was in, and one person in particular offered to help. I won't say his name for privacy reasons. I don't know if he would want me to tell his side of the story, but he runs huge YouTube channels with his family. He is very well known in the YouTube community and one of the kindest people I have ever met. I was able to talk to his people at the head of YouTube and get my channel back, and it ended up being this scam that was like this brand new thing that nobody had ever seen before, and our channel was like one of the first ones that it happened to. So awesome. I finally get my channel back, everything's restored, everything looks good, but now the algorithm is not reading any of my videos. Our videos went from getting millions of views to getting a few thousand. And then the kicker, the FTC decides that they want to come out with a law called COPPA. You can look it up if you want to know what that's all about. In a nutshell, anybody that has children in their videos or makes content for children, your ad revenue went from this to this. So not only am I getting no views, I'm getting paid pennies for those views. But me, I'm a fixer. And I'm like, it's fine. I'm gonna build something else. I'm gonna do something else. I can make this work. My kids just wanna do YouTube because they have fun with it anyway, so it doesn't even matter. I've got savings, we're fine. I decided, you know what, it's better if I don't have all my eggs in one basket anyway. I'm gonna start trying to build my own social platforms. Diversify, be able to still do that with my kids, get paid the little that I can from YouTube, but still try to get brand deals and different stuff on my Instagram. I even started doing consulting for businesses on how to grow their YouTube channels. Just trying to do anything with the knowledge that I had to make money. You guys, I even started gaming.
Did you hear? She had a stable marriage as long as she was making money. She was probably one of those typical traditional women making videos with her kids. But when her husband made a mistake, what did the woman do? She left him. I'm sure there was a fight where she said, "Because of you, I'm not making my money. This is why I said a woman will never put anything above her feelings. A woman always prioritizes herself first. Seeing how desperate she was to get that money back, of course, she would sacrifice her family in the process. That's why she changed her business strategy. For example, talking about divorce to spread misery around the world. We need money, so why not ruin other marriages in the process? The other thing is, thanks to a law called COPPA, she can't continue to exploit her children financially. Of course, kids love the idea of spending time with their mother. Since she shares custody with the father, when the mother has the kids, all she does is put them in videos to make money. How selfish is this woman? But let's continue.
To make money. You guys, I even started gaming. Like I played video games on Twitch for a minute, and then that turned into music, and that was amazing. That was a whole nother journey that I am so grateful for and I loved, but I was literally doing anything I could to make money. And every day I watched my income go like this. And every day I watched my bank accounts go like this. It is a different kind of fear being on your own and knowing that you have to support your children. I had put so much time and effort into this thing. To have it fail was crushing. But again, I'm an optimist, so I'm like, it's fine. I'll just build something new. Started making content on TikTok, Instagram, and have grown an amazing following on those platforms. And for a little bit, things started looking up. I started getting brand deals again. I started making a little bit more money through those avenues. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of stopped. I stopped gaining traction on TikTok. My videos weren't doing as well. I stopped gaining traction on Instagram. In fact, I started losing thousands of followers on Instagram and had no idea why. And it's really hard to get brands to want to work with you when your videos aren't doing well. Shocker. On top of this, one of my dreams had always been to have an online business where I could sell merchandise, where I could sell products that would have funny, fun things on them that would just bring people joy. This process of building that has taken a really long time. And this video is already really long, but literally everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. So now to my miracle. I am getting really, really close to launching this website, this small little business that I'm going to try. And let me just say, I don't have a freaking clue what I am doing, but I'm really excited about it because these are products that I just want people to be able to laugh and to smile with. Then yesterday, for whatever reason, one of the videos, our old videos on our family channel, just took off. I mean, within 24 hours, it is getting 1 million views. No rhyme or reason, haven't done anything different, just decided to pop off. The YouTube world is a really, really hard one because it not only takes a lot of perseverance and dedication, but it also takes luck. I'd gotten lucky once 8 years ago, and I didn't know if that was ever going to happen again. And I got lucky again. And most people don't ever get that once, and I am so incredibly grateful for that. I'm not out of the woods yet. I don't know what that means. I don't know if I'm going to be able to build onto it. I'm hoping that I can do that because I did it once, so I'm going to do it again. But it came at a time where I'm almost ready to launch this website, and I cannot wait to share it with people. So if you've listened to this whole long saga, I have no idea if this business is going to be a complete awesome success or a total epic failure. For the first time in a long time, I have hope. I have hope that it's going to be all right. Finally doing what I love again, and that's bringing joy and light and happiness and laughter to anyone and everyone in the world. I wanted to share that with you guys today because social media paints everything as roses and perfect, and it's not. My life is not perfect. That is why I wanted to say, never give up. Keep trying, keep working, keep doing things and trying things. If something doesn't work, pivot. Don't give up. I'm finally excited for what the future holds. So stay tuned.
Did you hear her mention her family at any point? She only talks about how much she wants to get her money back. That's why there's a famous saying, "My husband's money is my money, but my money is my money." A woman, for her own success, will even sacrifice her family. That's why I just laugh when they say a woman gives everything for her children. That's a fallacy. A woman gives everything for her own feelings. First, she ruins her marriage because her husband lost his channel, a mistake she didn't forgive. Second, she uses her kids as a means of production. Third, she makes all kinds of content, constantly searching for a way to recreate her success. What does that tell us? That no matter what she has to sacrifice along the way, she will do it. Now you understand why she's following in Mel Robbins' footsteps, because apart from the failure part, it's the same path she took, leaving her family to seek her personal success. On the wedding day, only one person marries for love, and that's the man. The woman marries for a lifestyle, and as soon as she loses that lifestyle, she leaves the man. A woman's hypergamy doesn't forgive.
You let him hit it raw. You didn't have second thoughts. Now you a single mom. Now you a single mom. You said I'ma have this kid. Don't care if he's here or not. But now you a single mom. Now you a single mom.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we will see how a single mother says it's difficult without a man, that society is not designed for women to be single mothers. We will also see how a father requests custody of his daughter after 6 years when the grandparents didn't want him to know about her. We want to invite you to smash that like button. Let's support the movement. Subscribe to the channel. That's the only contribution we ask from you, man. Add your grain of sand to the movement. Share your experiences in the comments for any man who might need them. And without further introduction, let's get started.
I just took out a loan for basic needs and food. Like, needs/food. I have never in my life had to take out a loan for the things that my home needs. I had to make the decision of gas or food, or somehow budget it and split that and get a little bit of gas and get a little bit of food until I get paid again. I said, there's no way. I cannot do this. I need to have a little bit more for gas, and I need to have enough food. So Affirm has, its thing with Sam's Club. I was like, fuck it. Let's just take out a loan for our basic needs. I feel like this is not okay. This is not okay. We're fucked.
Stop it. Get some help.
There are many women like this one. Women who have children with Chad. Women who didn't know how to make the most important choice of their lives, which is choosing the man with whom to have children. They go for fun until they realize that this man won't take responsibility, and then the problems come. In this country, billions are spent just to help women make the burden of their bad choices more bearable, because we all know that responsibility is kryptonite for women. What better way than to use all the men's taxes to support Chad's children? I'm not complaining about this, as we need children, but it would be much better if they stayed with the father. The statistics for children of single mothers are the most discouraging of all. Yet women don't consider this when having children. They only care about having the genetics of the man they like, not what it will be like after having the baby. Then they end up like the woman in the next video, crying over their own decisions.
Breaking news, the video behind me is going viral and causing controversy. Because in this clip, the woman behind me talks about the harsh reality of being a single mother. Check this out.
I'm going to be aggressive because nobody wants to hear this, because what you want me to say today is actually being a single mother is totally possible. It actually isn't. It was never meant to happen for the human race, number one. Number two, single biggest determiner of whether a mother is a good mother, what do you think it is? This is going to blow your mind when I tell you the answer. Whether they have a supportive partner. The major argument for good dads is actually, can the dad be there for the mom? Because it's like a direct chain is what we see. What you see is that if you've got a father figure, basically, who's supportive to the mother's energy goes towards the children. But the second that she doesn't have that supportive energy, she collapses, is what happens. And then the kids get starved. And we're not actually supposed to be living in a single family household, so it's supposed to be a lot more support towards mom than just dad. But I'm going with standard societal structure. You are a victim of a society that was never meant to work this way.
Now there's pretty much two groups responding to this video. One group agreeing with her and the other group vehemently disagreeing with her. The group disagreeing with her pretty much is saying that they grew up with a single mom and their mom did just fine and they didn't need a father. And that there are plenty strong, independent women who can be single mothers and raise, decent members of society. But other people are agreeing with her because they're pretty much saying that the people that are disagreeing with her are misinterpreting what she's saying. Because if a mom has a supportive partner, she can have more time with the kids. Because the fundamental thing between a mother and her children is time spent with them. And the single mother will inevitably spend less time with her kids because she will be working more to try to provide. So which side do you agree with? Do you agree with her or do you disagree?
Guess which group disagrees? It is well known that the economy for a single person is unsustainable. Now, imagine it for a single mother. Studies show that a child raised with both parents present tends to do better in life. Women don't like to see this because they feel it's an attack, as they live the feminist narrative of, I can do it all alone. And, above all, they don't want to show the vulnerability that they might have made a mistake. But just because you do it alone doesn't mean this should be the rule. A two-parent household has a better economy. The mother spends more time with her children, and the parents can be more attentive to their health, meals, or studies. A home with two parents helps regulate the woman's energy. She can be in mother mode, not in an empowered mode, tired of carrying the burden. Also, two parents can handle the stress that comes with having a family. That's why you often see regret after leaving a marriage, because they find that doing everything the father did is almost impossible. It is true that there are single mothers who have raised their children successfully, but the exception doesn't make the rule. Most end up seeing their children in jail or addicted to vices. The presence of a father in the lives of children is necessary, especially for daughters, as it can even prevent women from being more promiscuous. A father is a father, even if she wants to deny it.
I just gave birth to our baby a week ago, and he followed me into the shower and started pointing at me while I'm standing there naked, screaming at me and telling me that I am fat and I need to lose weight and not have my stomach poke out like that. I did the laundry today, and I folded my husband's clothes, and I hung everything that needed to be hung up on hangers, and I put it on the bed. And tonight when he got home, I asked him to please put everything away so we could go to bed. And I was gonna take a shower, so I went in the shower and got in, and I have our 1-week-old baby sitting in his bouncer. And he followed me into the shower, and pulled back the curtain and just stood there and screamed at me, pointing at me and saying that I was fat and I needed to lose weight, and if I wasn't gonna do that I should tell him what to do, and I should tell him to clean or put anything away. This is your disclaimer that this is a reenactment of something that happened to me in my previous marriage, to raise awareness about the Safe at Home program, also known as the Address Confidentiality Program, which provides a decoy address to victims of domestic abuse and sexual assault. And you do not have to go through a judge to get it. You can get one through a licensed professional, like a therapist or a caseworker. This one is very emotional for me because I remember how vulnerable I was at the time after I had my first child, and how truly horrible it was to be treated like this. And this was one of the first instances of me realizing that there was something wrong, with this relationship. There were many other red flags, but this was the first time that I just was like, there's something wrong with this person. So.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
This woman is creating a sort of drama about the worst parts of being married, trying to blame it all on abuse, doing what single or divorced mothers do best, sharing their misery in the form of help in their interpretation of advice. I don't agree with a man criticizing his wife for gaining some weight after pregnancy. I think it's wrong because this woman is giving you a child, and you should be more considerate. Now, if a year has passed since this, and the woman has become heavier and does nothing to lose weight, then I believe you should empathetically say something. The problem is that no matter how this topic is approached, it always ends badly or is taken as an attack, making her react negatively toward you. Then the husband loses attraction, and when he doesn't say anything and desires her even less in bed, she makes a fuss too. So, honestly, if a woman wants to leave a comment on how to approach the subject, there's no way for it to end well.
I just gave birth to our baby a week ago, and he followed me into the shower and started pointing at me while I'm standing there naked, screaming at me and telling me that I'm fat and I need to lose weight and not have my stomach poke out like that.
And you want to know why he yelled at her and called her fat after she had just given birth to their child? Because she asked him to put his clothes away. Yes, that's the reason. Lady, you are a part of a miracle. You created life. You know, usually I don't just straight up say this, but I'm going to straight up say it this time. Find you a man who will love you for who you are. Get rid of that dude. He doesn't deserve you, nor your children. That's just my opinion. You do what you want, but you have the support of everyone. No man should ever comment on a woman's body after she's given birth.
I share your opinion, but we also have to look at the situation. In this case, she is absolutely right. However, hypothetically speaking, if the woman has been like this for more than a year, how should the man approach the topic? This is the dilemma for many men. The difficult part is that many won't ask for a divorce but stay silent, watching how the woman becomes like a cow, sitting on the couch every day. This is tough because if they say something, it's like World War III in the house. That's why some men stay quiet and just endure, but the only thing that ends up happening is the relationship deteriorates even more. In this case, I say there should be an honest conversation without attacks, done empathetically, but as I said, it's very likely to end badly.
The mother of a 7-year-old little girl was tragically killed in a car crash. Well, after her death, her parents stepped up and took custody of the little girl. The reason why they did was because the dad wasn't around. He hadn't been around in about 6 years. As a matter of fact, that little girl wouldn't know him if he walked in the room. He had paid child support throughout her life, but that's about it. Hadn't really had anything at all to do with her. The grandparents, however, had played a significant role in this child's life. So after about 2 or 3 weeks, they went to a lawyer's office and said, hey, what do we need to do to make sure that we're covering all our bases, that we can enroll her in school, take her to the doctor, that the dad won't pop up at some point and say, I want her. What do we need to do? Well, the lawyer said, let's go ahead and file a case in court, in juvenile court, and ask for custody of the child. It's called the dependent neglect case. So that's what they did. But in doing so, they had to put the father on notice of that case. He had to be given notice. In other words, he had to be told and presented with the papers that they had filed in court. And when he was, guess what? He popped up and said, hey, I want custody of my daughter, even though he hadn't seen her in 6 years. The grandparents were devastated. The lawyer told him, hey, there's not going to be much we can do. If he wants custody, he's probably going to get custody. You know, parents have a superior parental right to their children. If one parent dies, then the other parent automatically gets custody of that child unless it can be proven in court that that parent poses a substantial risk of harm to that child. In this case, they couldn't do that. And even though dad had not seen that child in 6 years, he could get custody of that child because of the doctrine of superior parental rights. What do you think about that in this case? Do you think the grandparents should have gotten custody, or do you think it's okay that the father comes up after 6 years and can get custody of the child?
If the father wasn't in the girl's life, it might seem unfair that he gets to stay with her, but here's the thing. Why did he stay away? Maybe the mother was toxic and didn't want the father around, likely making his life impossible. Or she was one of those mothers who became so unbearable that the man eventually gave up and stopped coming around the child. But look at this. If he were a father who never cared, he would have stopped paying child support, which he didn't. As soon as he was summoned, he requested custody. That tells me he wanted to be in her life, and it was the mother who didn't want him there. It's hard for it to be 6 years later, but he's the father and has a right to be with his daughter. This doesn't mean he's separating her from her grandparents. He might have a better relationship with her than he had with the mother. You can't take away a man's right to be a father. The grandparents have already had their turn. This man deserves the opportunity to be with his daughter, just as the girl deserves to be with her father. So it seems to me that the father did the right thing, as he has been doing by paying child support for 6 years. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Has your wife or girlfriend ever gained weight? How did you address the issue with her to encourage weight loss? What do you think about single mothers having such a hard time raising their children when they could be married to the father? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.